Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I am your host in pseudo-pasta, Joker Rex. And this is my brother, your homie, and our deacon, Cowboy.
Howdy.
And we are here today, folks, with your video game revival. And today, Cowboy, what game are we going to revive for these folks, these kind people?
Final Fantasy Mystic Quest.
Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. Made in 1992 for the SNES. The director was Kuzi Ide. If I'm saying that correctly, probably not, because I'm not so very good at Japanese names, even though I like to play around and say them as much as possible. It was made by Squaresoft. Squaresoft was the company that made every good RPG I've ever played, and that was before they merged with Square Enix, which was formerly just Enix. Let's see here. I've got a couple specs on it. They actually gave it a 3.7 out of 5 in 1992 in Nintendo Power. And I don't want to throw out names of gaming things that gave it the kind of that's not such a great rating for a game that is really remembered by a lot of people back then. The gaming critics called it a franchise embarrassment. A franchise embarrassment, or the worst Final Fantasy game ever, people called it. The worst Final Fantasy game ever, however, they loved the soundtrack. I mean, like, to keep it 100%, I loved the entire game. I was the first one I played.
I loved the game too.
Was it the first one you played?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, literally, there was the thing that kind of broke us in was Mystic Quest, and Mystic Quest and Final Fantasy 2 in America, which was in Japan. 2 is 4, and then 3 is 6. But we kind of played 2 and Mystic Quest at the same time. But Mystic Quest was the one that was entry level. It was for, like, if you were younger and you didn't know what a role-playing game was, it was really easy. There wasn't a whole lot of things to add up. There was power bars. Remember, they had the power bar instead of you.
And you could switch it to the numbers.
You could switch it once you got a little bit better at everything. You could switch it to your hit point numbers. It wasn't open world either. It was a set path. You kind of had to. Remember, you had to get like the axe to cut down the trees to get to the next area.
And then you get the bombs to blow up stuff.
Yeah. It was
the hook shot. The
kind of like Zelda, yeah. You couldn't exactly just walk around the mountain to get to the next guy.
And you could see the guys.
Yeah, you could see that. It wasn't random encounters, and enemies would even block the path sometimes. So there was sometimes you could walk around, sometimes. Most of the time you had to go through that enemy, and you wanted to because you needed to level up. That's kind of compared to other Final Fantasy games where you had the ability to maybe fight other guys and not fight other guys. This, you had to fight guys in order to beat the oncoming boss, or you were going to get punished very, very badly. Very badly.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite bosses in the game was it Flamer's Rex?
Yeah.
It was just a T-Rex skeleton that had fire powers.
That's my favorite guy too.
That was your favorite one? I mean, my brother's a dino freak anyway, but it was to me it was just one of those. They got in touch with really crazy animals, and is that the one with Pazuzu in it?
Yeah.
In the wind, It
was like a bird that said the devil.
We searched for what? How was the story? You got to refresh my memory with this a little bit.
The story was about the 4 crystals, the focus tower and stuff, and how the 4 crystals were getting drained and stuff.
Okay, and you had to restore the crystals?
Yeah,
so that the world
and the white crystal hit itself.
Okay. Oh, okay. So the fifth crystal hit itself, so that I remember that. Okay. And then so each area had a correlating crystal with it, right? So the Earth had a certain level. The Earth was the bone. Was that the bone dungeon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of them went really weird. Like you would think you'd go through a forest for Earth, but you went into this bone dungeon. And then some of them would fit up. The water places would fit up and stuff like that. But some of them, they were all cool. I really liked them. What was the big last dude? The Dark Lord?
The Dark King.
Dark King, yeah. He was one of them ones where, usually in Final Fantasy games, there's a villain. You know what I mean? There's like a Kefka, or there's what's that guy's name with the the big armor, not Gilgamesh,
Ex-Death?
Gildebrand, or what, I'm trying to remember his damn name.
Gilgamesh.
Is it not Gilgamesh? He's the he almost looks like the Joker besides Kefka. He's kind of goofy looking. I like Gilgamesh, but they were more. The enemies were more animal-like. You know what I mean? They were more less monster-like and more animal-like. They were more like things from folklore, like the brownies. You know, instead of imps, they have brownies.
Greek mythology and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of the enemies were taken straight from myth and lore instead of kind of just made up from bedtime stories, or which it was a different Final Fantasy game. It got you kind of back in touch with like if you had played it later after playing some of the later entries in the series, you would be. I mean, you might obviously be a little let down because of the graphics and all. Everything is a tiny little sprite, you know. Even when you get into fights, you don't see the full character. You kind of just see the tops of their heads, right? And then you get to choose to command, run, or what was the other one? An item. And then depending on command will open you up into attacks and will open you up to controlling your party member. And you only get one party member, right? Is it two?
Yeah, it's two
at all
members.
times.
Yeah,
at all times. Yeah. So yeah, one of the only Final Fantasy games, right? That has two. Like, that's the only one I could think of the whole time that had two party members. I was not gonna look that one up. I could, but yeah, that was. It made it harder too, because you would think it'd be easier to just heal two guys and kind of manage their combat. But there was never that third person to take the edge off or hit you with a cure potion. You had to both kind of back and forth the whole time. It was really like standing against your buddy's back in a fight and like just fending them off. And it was hectic. I just have to say, even though they call it an entry-level Final Fantasy game for kind of for kids, I guess, it was punishing. It was hard.
Yeah.
I remember getting my ass whipped plenty of times.
I remember it was pretty hard too.
I can't for the life of me tell you like what the game over screen looks like, but
game over screen looks like it says game over. Would you like to continue? And you press continue. You start off the battle.
Does it have the you start off in the battle you die in? Okay. So yeah, that's it's it was different. It was just kind of different the way it was, the way other Final Fantasies are. There was a remade when I was doing some research of actually the last few games we've done video game revivals for. There have been PC remakes, which I'm not calling bad. I'm not calling unworthy, I suppose, but in a sense, yeah, I am. Because they're not out there for everybody. Not everybody can just look it up, buy it, and stick it in their system. A lot of them are done kind of half-ass. Sorry. They just look like they've had, instead of having an enemy that may move around or go a little bit different with certain things, they kind of just post in pictures of certain things. So the remakes aren't that great that are out there. So I'm not going to call them remakes. And I sure as hell am not going to call them revivals. We need a Final Fantasy Mystic Quest remake. I mean, this is where the music started out. Everybody talks about the big composers in Final Fantasy, and most people would probably rather buy a Final Fantasy soundtrack than they would a Final Fantasy game. But
I would say.
But and they're great. If I could own every Final Fantasy soundtrack, I would. And Mystic Quest was one of those ones where it felt like Metallica came in and helped them with it. It was rocking, man. It was really rocking.
Especially at the bar scene in Final Fantasy when you go to the fireplace.
Which one's that? I kind of trying to remember that one. The bar scene.
I forget what the name is called.
Was there like a band on stage or something?
Yeah.
No, okay.
That's what I remember.
It just had some really cool characters, man. Tristram.
Yeah.
That one I could never. Yeah, the guy with the ninja stars. The characters had such cool little. I mean, they were regular weapons, but the way they all kind of owned them, it was really Final Fantasy. It was really Dungeons and Dragons-y feeling, where everybody was a class of this or that, but they weren't called this or that. So you just kind of knew from the way, you know what I mean? It was the age before they started calling everybody a white mage or a dark mage. Remember that? There was
Yeah.
no like
I
there was
remember that.
there was Tristram. There was the names of all the guys.
Phoebe,
Yeah,
and-
and they did certain magics, but they weren't called like a white mage, or they weren't called a ninja, or they
No,
weren't.
they weren't.
Yeah, so it was kind of like they were who they were, and they were adventurers and fighters, and to me that was. Just thinking about it is like, why didn't they write a damn book and make an anime series about it, man? It's one of those things to me that,
And the book's got a lot of good artwork in it.
the book has some very good artwork in it, man. Very good artwork, the story of it. I mean, it reads like a book at first, too. They ended after about a page and a half with the beautiful artwork. But they, yeah, it's just a very, very beautiful game. I have a picture loaded up that I'll probably put in for the thumbnail, and it shows that one of the features on the front of the box was Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, now with new battery backup to save 3 games. Yeah, but you know, here we are, new age, and we don't have it. We don't have the originals anymore. We just have remakes from 2 years ago. You know, people, folks, my fellow human beings, man, come on. Bring it back. What do you think, man?
Yes.
You
Bring
think?
back Final Fantasy Mystic Quest.
Bring it back. We're coming for you, Square. We're gonna come, and we're gonna make you remake it. And then maybe after that, we're gonna make you remake Secret of Evermore. You didn't think about that one, did you? You got Secret of Mana, huh? But you didn't get Secret of Evermore. See, that's what's the problem today. See, is that
Secret
people,
Densetsu.
that's it. We gotta go. We gotta go. All right, folks. I gotta go. I gotta go.
Peace out.